Welcome, filmmakers, fans, and friends to Indie Cinema Showcase. I'm your host, John Theisen. Each episode, my cinephile friend Tim Anderson and I will be here to bring you the best and brightest in local independent cinema.
Each show, we kick things off with a short film that was created by a Florida filmmaker, and then John and I will offer some of our insights on the production and our thoughts from the Popcorn Gallery segment. Later on, we'll show the feature filmmaker some love too by running a trailer for a feature production that was also lensed in the area.
And after we show you our shorts, we'll welcome on an industry guest. Be that a writer, director, actor, special effects artist, whomever. We'll bring them onto the show and see what's going on in today's fast-paced world of independent cinema.
And finally, we'll wrap things up by answering some of your internet inquiries about the who's, what's, whens, where's, why's, and how's of making your own micro-budget masterpieces.
All right, let's get things rolling with a great example of what we're highlighting today, women in film. This short film is about a girl trying to recapture that moment and feeling of falling in love for the first time. The film is entitled First Time and is directed by a local female filmmaker named Catherine Smith. Hope you enjoy.
You leaving?
After the first time, it's never quite the same. You can never really feel that satisfied again. You can come close to it, but no matter how many times you try or how hard you try to recapture that event, that experience, this experience that's so amazingly satisfying, both physically and emotionally. No matter how many men you sift through or how many times you try to recapture that moment in time, you can come close. Believe me, I've come pretty damn close, but...
So, same time next week then?
in the end, it always just eludes you. I was young and naive. My ideas of romance consisted of Jane Austen novels. And he was right there in front of me. So I followed him in. He led me into his bedroom in complete darkness. And it was almost like a game of trying not to wake up his roommate. I knew we were almost there, and then there I was, standing in his room awkwardly, waiting, taking in everything I saw. This was a first for me. The moment, the person. Everything was new. I've changed my mind.
Oh, no, yeah. Come here.
And suddenly I wasn't so sure that I had changed my mind.
Lay down.
He was staring at me. He was looking me right in the eyes, waiting and anticipating. I couldn't resist. I didn't want to. I was overwhelmed with need, this need for him and for him alone. And then I was kissing him. His lips were so soft. It felt amazing, for lack of a better word. It felt amazing. I didn't want to lie down just then for fear of what might happen. But then it was like he was reading my mind, like somehow we had this connection. And then he knew. So what's a girl to do? I was being sweet-talked and coerced. And the strange thing was, I liked it. With only a dim light coming from the TV, he guided me on top of him, and our lips met in the dark. I looked around the room and at us on the bed. I could feel his bulge between my legs. And I remember thinking that everything would be fine just so long as we kept our clothes on. We laughed in the dark, and all my doubts just seemed to vanish in that moment. It's kind of cold in here.
Oh, well, you can always get under the covers. Please?
Oh, so you can violate me?
I'd have to close the door to do that.
But how would I get out if I needed to?
I'll show you a trick. It's really cool. I swear. Bam. Then if you want to get out, all you have to do is twist and pull.
And it works like that just for everybody?
Everyone, I swear.
He came back to bed, not taking his eyes off me.
You alright?
He let me get under the covers. He kissed me so gently. We couldn't get enough of each other. Opening our mouths just a little bit wider. Every moment made in the dark, every lingering kiss, consuming us. And then we heard a door open. The light turned on in the hall, and we both just froze, trying to listen at first. Something was almost... The silence was just deafening.
Chris is up.
You're not going to tell him I was here, are you?
He probably already knows. What? You don't want him to know?
Did I not want him to know? I wasn't really sure, you know, the idea of someone knowing excited me, or maybe I just wanted me and Cohen to stay a secret.
It's not like he's gonna wake up the next morning, point and say, "Oh, hey, it's the girl that was over here last night." It'd be ridiculous.
At least that's what I hoped he wouldn't do. His eyes were all over me, trying to read my expression, trying to see what I was thinking. He couldn't, of course. We were really good at that, hiding our feelings from each other.
What's wrong?
I didn't respond.
Look, all we're doing is kissing. We're missing one thing.
What's that?
The kissing.
Hey, what are you thinking about?
You.
You. That simple three-letter word. You know, it never really sounded so good before. It had been placed in other sentences, used to blame, but tonight, it stood all on its own. Holding promises of tomorrow, it was the only thing that I needed to hear. 3 years, a number of men, and a roommate later, and I'm still searching. Still desperately trying to recreate that night. Still searching for that 3-letter word. For that feeling that will forever and always elude me. Still trying to recreate that first time.
Once again, that was First Time, directed by Catherine Smith. Now, each show we like to give you our own thoughts from the popcorn gallery and offer feedback about the films we showcased so we can give our audiences something to complain about. Wait a minute, that's not right. Anyway, so John, what'd you think of First Time?
I really liked the film, and kudos to Catherine. You know, what I liked about this film, in the broadest sense, it's a simple film. I feel like Catherine told the story she was trying to tell, and she covered her bases very well. The film looks good, even with minimal sets and minimal budgets, whatever. The dialogue and the actual writing is amazing, and the pacing is great. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of independent filmmakers with such low budgets and such shoestring, you know, situations, they try to really outstretch themselves so much. But any film, I don't care how much special effects or explosions and things you have in your film, if you don't have good pacing, good looking film as far as lighting and camera work, and also a good script, you don't have a film. So I think Catherine, for all it's worth, covered her bases amazingly well.
We always talk about this kind of thing, but since we are focusing on women in film and female filmmakers, I mean, what I like about Catherine's film is that it's an intimate film and that it's a very personalized story. Sure. And I'm not saying that male filmmakers out there can't make a sweet, soft film that tells a tale of their lives and make it feel that way, but there's definitely something, intuition that exists inside of there that makes this film, like when you look at it, you really understand where the character is at, what she's going through, and maybe it has a technical error here or there, but it's not detracting from the overall theme of what Catherine was trying to do with her story.
Now, to see more about the film you just saw, or to see what other projects Catherine's been making, visit her website at www.catherinesmithfilms.com. When we come back from the break, we'll be talking with the president of the Florida chapter of Women in Film and Television, Robin Wright, about the plight of women filmmakers in today's world of entertainment and filmmaking. Stick around. Welcome back. Now on ICS, we want to do more than just show independent films to our audiences. So on this episode's Industry Insights segment, we're very excited to have with us Robin Wright, president of the Florida chapter of Women in Film and TV. Thanks for being here, Robin.
You're welcome. I enjoy this.
Now, Robin, tell us, how did you get into the independent world of filmmaking?
Well, it's pretty interesting. I actually came from the music side of the world, and I've always been interested in film and television and theater and music my whole entire life. And I kind of segued into film and television and started running an independent film studio in Central Florida about 5.5 years ago.
Oh, great.
And it was interesting to compete with some of the bigger studios around the state and around the country. And through that, I got involved with organizations such as Film Florida and was brought to the attention of me of Women in Film and Television in Florida. And it's an amazing dynamic group and a huge networking facility for people in the industry around the state and around the world, quite honestly.
Can you tell us a little bit about what women in film and television do?
Yes, and first of all, let me say that we do have members that are men. Everybody
Okay.
has
Not
a
exclusive,
preconceived right notion that it's women only. We have board members that are men as well. And what we do is go around the state and we support industry people, you know, whether they're caterers, makeup artists, costumers. We support several film festivals throughout the state. We work largely with the film office up in Tallahassee, and we're advocates for more money to come into the state of Florida and keeping it here to create jobs.
Now, Robin, do you feel just women in general have had to struggle in a male-dominated entertainment industry?
I don't know if it's so much struggling as there's been a lot of challenges and hurdles. I think that women haven't always been viewed as a strong enough individual to be a director and, you know, run a film. But we have amazing directors out there right now like Catherine Bigelow, Nancy Meyer, Nora Ephron, who have some incredible films out right now, and they're speaking for themselves. You know, they're writers, producers, directors. Some of them come from the TV side and documentary style, and they're just doing amazing work right now. So, you know, the window of opportunity is there for us.
Do you think there's some specific outlets out there that exist for women to showcase their films that aren't necessarily, you know, controlled by men?
Male dominant. There are. We actually are supporting what's called the Luna Fest, and it's the Luna Power Bar for women, and they do a series, and it's 9 to 12 films for women, about women, by women, and it supports the Breast Cancer Association, and we've gotten involved with that the past 3 years, and we're doing it again this March 8th, which is International Women's Day. There are film festivals out there that are geared mainly for women. And they're the ones, those platforms are to be utilized as stepping stones to getting your film and your word out there.
Absolutely.
And I think actually what we've talked about in a previous episode too is about the grants that exist. You know, there's a lot of grants, but there's a lot of grants that are out there that are also dealing with specific genders, ethnicities, and to kind of take advantage of anything that's out there. You know, any money that you can put in your pocket is a benefit to all of us. You know? Right,
and we have several people on our board and members that help out with writing grants, so we can always help with assistance on that.
Great.
We also offer a scholarship through Women in Film and Television, Sarah Fuller Scholarship, and we just had one of our members, Laura Lopez, who we offered her. She received the scholarship 2 years ago, and she's out in LA right now, and we're bringing one of her films back in for a local festival that's starting in a week. So we're really excited about that, to be able to support her. And again, that's one of the things that we do. And our website is a huge tool of information, from everything from casting jobs, auditions, used and new equipment for sale. Wow. And so we always try to send everybody to our website, because we also do international information on there as well, not just local throughout the state.
That's phenomenal. Well, I guess to wrap things up, let me ask you, do you have any advice for women filmmakers out there right now watching the show?
Don't get discouraged. I know that is terrible to say, because we do seem to hit a lot of closed doors, but there's always an open window. Keep focused, keep focused, keep focused. Use the tools that are available for you. There's no stupid questions. Pick up the phone, call, ask. We're all there to help.
Fantastic.
Well, once again, Robin, thank you so much for being here. And if you want to know more about women in film and TV, visit their website at womeninfilmfl.org. Thank you again, Robin.
Great, thanks guys, I enjoyed this.
As the president heads back to her office, we're going to take a look at this episode's feature. This feature trailer comes from former UCF grad student Laura Lopez. It's entitled Acts of Mercy.
Most people my age prefer the rush of the ER. Hospice care is not that. It's not about developing skills. It's about compassion.
Please take me home. You have a brilliant future here. doing what it takes to make a difference here. This is a calling. I really need you.
If you'd like to know more about this feature film, visit its website at www.actsofmercymovie.com.
Now, since we're not just here to show you all some fancy moving pictures and listen to ourselves talk, we're going to try to impart some wisdom with our Fun Facts segment presented by greenroomorlando.com.
These facts are sent in to us from the wild and woolly world of the internet. This episode's question is from Stephen. Dear ICS, I just completed my first short film and I was wondering if you could suggest any film festivals to submit to. I always hear about larger festivals like Sundance, but I didn't know if they were right for me. Any advice? I think we do. John?
Well, instead of just plugging, I mean, we were in Florida. There's lots of great Florida film festivals out there. And I would say that the first thing to Stephen is to think about local films, local film festivals, especially when you're just starting out, you're just getting going.
Absolutely.
Obviously, it's a lot. It's about like gambling. You know, you want to see what your odds are. And I think when you're playing a regional festival or you're submitting to a regional festival that isn't Sundance, first of all, it's going to be a lot cheaper to submit to, and your odds of getting in and representing yourself locally are much better. Now, I'm not going to dispel anybody from taking the extra $50 or whatever it is to submit to Sundance and give, you know, throw their hat in the ring, but start locally. Especially when you're starting out as an independent filmmaker, you know, deal with your region first and then shoot for the stars.
No, I agree with you 100%. I want to talk about Sundance for a second, but I also want to talk about, you know, what exists out there for filmmakers to utilize to, you know, kind of help. And the biggest tool that's kind of come into the world in the last several years is withoutabox.com.
Sure.
And by just spending, you know, a couple of hours on Without a Box, knowing the kind of movie that you've made, and remember, guys, you need to keep in mind what movie you made.
Right.
Go out there and research festivals and find out, you know, when the festival is, because submission prices get much larger the closer the festival is, because they, you know, they're aiming for last-minute filmmakers that want to get in there. But you know, like John said, I'm not discouraging you from submitting to Sundance, but try to recognize that Sundance only takes about 20 short films for about 9,000 submissions.
Sure.
So really, I know I'm not saying that Stephen made a bad movie. I'm just saying that understand that if you submit to Sundance, you should submit with the idea that there is no chance your movie will get into Sundance, and not to hold off on submitting to other festivals for the hope that you will premiere in Park City. If you want to be part of our Fun Facts segment, you can submit your questions by visiting the ICS link on greenroomorlando.com. If you ask us a question we can't answer, we'll Google it. Now, it's time for my favorite segment of the show, Films to See Before You Die.
Are you looking for something a bit off the beaten track to check out late at night? Well, each episode, Tim and I pick a couple DVDs that may have slipped past your radar, but films that we think you absolutely need to feast your eyes on. So, Tim, what'd you bring for us this episode?
Well, you know, John, obviously we always try to tie into what we've been talking about today. So today I'm going to kind of tie maybe two segments together. I'm going to tie in together women in filmmaking. I'm going to talk a little bit about film festivals, because the film that I'm actually presenting today is Zombie Girl the movie. And it's on a film festival run right now, so I wish that I could tell you guys that you could run out this second and see this movie, but you can definitely check them out on the web. It's www.zombiegirlthemovie.com.
Okay.
Real simple. But what makes this movie interesting is that it actually refers to another feature film, which is called Pathogen. Now, Pathogen is written, directed, essentially produced, starred, and effects work all done by a female filmmaker by the name of Emily Higgins.
Okay.
And what makes this movie so fascinating, and why there's a documentary that accompanies the film, is that Emily was 12 years old when she made this movie. What's really more phenomenal about it is that she's about to debut her second feature film, and she's now 17. But Zombie Girl the movie is a look by a group of filmmakers in and around Austin, Texas, who saw a sign that Emily was going to be making a feature film, said something like, feature film zombie directed by 12-year-old. And, you know, can you help? And they immediately started to follow around to see not necessarily what happened, but more if it was really possible that this girl could do it. Because it's one thing for a 12-year-old to pick up their mom or dad's camera or borrow something from a friend and make a short film, but to shoot a full live-action feature film with effects, makeup, and write the entire screenplay yourself is really a phenomenal thing. And this is probably the most inspiring movie I've ever seen for telling you that if you have a dream, pick up the camera, get your friends together, pour the fake blood all over them, and make a movie.
She's making us look bad.
She does. She makes us all look like we're slacking.
Well, my DVD pick you need to see before you die is Marie Antoinette by Sofia Coppola. I probably would have picked Virgin Suicides, but I don't own that movie, so
you should buy it before you die.
Well, I probably should, but at least I've seen it before I die. But Sofia Coppola, obviously the daughter of Francis Ford Coppola. She's had some amazing films, Lost in Translation, Virgin Suicides. Marie Antoinette is another great film. Obviously, we're talking about women filmmakers today. You know, masterclass film. Kirsten Dunst stars in it. Obviously, it takes place, it's the story of Marie Antoinette during the French Revolution. And I think it's really great to look at it from, I think that being a poor guy myself, you always look about the French Revolution from the story of the poor class that are revolted, but to see it from their point of view, when she let them eat cake, which is arguably, they argue that she never said that nowadays, but the whole point of it is to see it from the royalty that they're pampered and they don't even know what's going on. They're just living in these very, very regal lives. With way too much excess, and I think the film does a great job of telling a very good story. Obviously, it's a period piece, and it comes off great, very strong, and I think Sofia continues to make great films and is a great testament to women filmmakers all over the world. So, great film that you need to see before you die. Well, that's all, folks. We want to thank all of you out in TV land for joining us. We also want to thank Robin Wright for dropping by to share her insights with us, as well as always as our segment sponsors.
We hope you learned something new, saw something that you loved, or got inspired to get off your couch and go make a movie of your own, just like Emily Higgins did. Maybe it'll be good enough for us to show on the next Indie Cinema Showcase.
But until then, as always, to all you current and upcoming filmmakers, we say peace, love, and positive reviews. Until next time.